For the past 3 years, Fredbear's Remastered has gone through change after change. And now, for the first time, I'm finally releasing a devlog for this game. Completely out of the blue. Hi, my name is Nemban, also known as Nemban_0official, Nemban_official, Nem, your local dummy, LNA451, and probably a dozen other names you've never heard of. This is my first ever devlog for my Roblox FNAF fan game, Fredbear's Remastered. After 3 years of development, pretty much in complete secrecy, I'm finally making a video to share this project with you. Mostly because I am terrible at game marketization, but speaking of marketization, this video is sponsored by Fredbear Studio. I'm kidding, of course. Fredbear Studio is a group that is linked to this game, so if you want, join it. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into the biggest question of them all, which is... For those unfamiliar, which is probably just about everyone watching this video right now, Fredbear's Remastered is a Roblox fan game inspired by the Five Nights at Freddy's video game series created by Scott Coffin. This game started as a sequel to my first game, One Night at Fredbear's, developed by me and, well, I don't even know what to call him at this point anymore. But after my original account was banned, it eventually turned into a full remake. And if you want to see more on what that game was before my ban, let me know in the comments. Because we hadn't wanted this to be some boring robloxfnaf fan game, me and the other people who were working on this game made sure to put some real effort into it. Not pointing any fingers, but everyone involved in this project is credited in the description, along with what they contributed and stuff like that. Though I will say, at the time of recording this, not many people involved in this project are truly as involved as they should be, me included, but of course, not pointing any fingers. Enough with this introduction, and on to the game showcase. As of right now, we lack the actual models of the animatronics, so we're just left with Freddy Fast for right now. Each of the animatronics in this game have a different mechanic as to avoid them, making the gameplay more difficult. In addition to this, I myself am planning on adding a difficulty setting that can be changed. How would I even do that? I don't know, but I think it'll be beneficial to the people who think this game is too hard. Anyway, as for the animatronics, Spring Bonnie. While being unable to see, Spring Bonnie has excellent hearing. Crouching near them will be important for survival. Fredbear. Fredbear is the opposite of Spring Bonnie, but more dangerous. He's partially deaf and relies on light rather than sound. Nightmare Endo/Endo 3. The endoskeleton is more of a lurking threat. Think of them like the Glamrock endoskeletons, but much smarter, I guess. Scrap/Spring Foxy. Foxy works as expected. He is faster than most of the other animatronics, can be seen in direct contact with light above the brightness level 2, shine directly into his eyes, and will literally decapitate the player, just like Fredbear. If you couldn't get it, the brightness level of 2 thing was a joke referencing how you can change the brightness level of a spotlight in Roblox Studio, and the just like Fredbear thing was a bite of 83. Was that the bite of 87? No. These are all, as of right now, the only animatronics we have an idea for. Now, with the animatronics covered, I can now proceed with the discussion of... I asked my friends what they thought of the map, and after deep, thoughtful consideration, they all said it's terrible. Like, you versus 100 skibidi toilets kind of bad. Okay, maybe it's not that bad, but it's just in need of improvement. But unfortunately, it cannot compare to the absolute masterpieces that are Five Nights with Craig and Hello Scary Angry Neighbor 3D. Now, to be fair, building this map has probably been the hardest part so far. Getting the right balance between being too big or too small, too detailed or too empty, it's just one of those things that this game has gone through over and over again. In other words, map redesigns. Here's a tip actually, if you're making your own game, don't be afraid to make multiple versions of your map, even if at the same time. It doesn't always work, but it lets you figure out what feels right. And if that's too much work, you can always improve your existing map using ideas from your older versions. Or, take inspiration from other games. Inspiration, not stealing. Big difference. Anyway, back to talking about... Now, with horror games, it's not just about walls and props. It's about lighting, shadows, and even placement of a single flickering light bulb matters more than you think. You don't want the map to be so bright that it looks like you're ascending to heaven, but you don't want it to be so dark that players can't see a thing even with a flashlight. I think with the lighting currently, it's good enough for the player to be able to see in the dark while it also being dark enough for the player not to see too much without a flashlight, as previously demonstrated with gameplay shown. And yes, I am aware of the unrealistic flashlight. I don't want it being too bright or else it'll feel even more unnatural. Another thing I really want to push is interactivity. This is a free roam game, not just sitting in a dusty office waiting for the clock to hit 6 a.m. Players should be able to move around, explore, and obviously get chased by animatronics. And yeah, I'll admit, the earliest version of this map that I can recover was literally based on a pre-existing layout, but over time we've rebuilt it with better textures, props, and, an actually original map. It's not perfect, but it's gotten significantly better, and I can assure you it's only going to keep improving. At least I hope so. In fact, the next devlog will probably be more map focused, since I think there's a lot more to show off there. So yeah, the entire game is basically a walking simulator until we, and by we I mean me, finish the gameplay part. Speaking of which, let's talk about... Now, you've already seen some of the gameplay of ONAFB Remastered in its current state, but let's actually break down the basics. The premise is simple. You go to Fredbear to retrieve items for a new location, you get trapped inside the building, and your goal is to escape. That's it. That's why it's called ONAFB, partially. Now, to be clear, that only applies to the remastered version. The original game didn't really have that much of a story. It was just Zachary loses a bet and has to go into the abandoned Fredbear's family diner, gets killed at the end. Well, that's only for the public version of the original, not the one on my original account. But hey, there's nothing too bad about it other than the central idea, but I wanted this game to be more structured this time. Now, I know what you're thinking, or maybe you're not thinking this and I'm just delusional, but that's the whole premise of ONAFB Remastered? Sounds kind of stupid. And yeah, I get that. But here's the thing. The gameplay is meant to be good enough for the premise to fit with the gameplay, and I can almost confidently say that it hopefully will. Hopefully. So, what is the gameplay actually like? It's still a walking simulator, but let me just list some of the basic ideas. Stealth, for example. Crouching near them will be important for survival, as I mentioned previously. Item searching. Now, that might sound bad, I know, but there's really nothing to worry about. You'll be searching for items that will progress you through the game, which it sometimes seems like some FNAF fan games don't do that, which I understand why. But I don't care. Strategy. Due to how I plan to make these animatronics, which I hope everything goes according to plan, strategy will hopefully be important. But I don't know if you noticed, but the fence in the diner will be important too. And to name other things: hiding, object moving, animatronic fighting, and yes, I just said that, spring lock failure, vaulting, climbing, throwing, leaning, sliding, and my personal favorite, falling! All the things I just listed are going to be in the game, and I'm hoping that it'll actually work properly. Anyway, one of the biggest goals I have for gameplay is for each run to feel different. That means mostly randomized item spawns, player-based patrol routes for the animatronics, and animatronics that will literally pull you out from a vent if you're close enough just for them to kill you. Another thing, your main goal in this wouldn't be just to survive, it's to escape. Or in better terms, beat the game. collecting tools, unlocking doors, getting your arm bitten off, that kind of stuff. Basically, if the gameplay gets boring or repetitive, I've done something wrong. So yeah, that's the core gameplay. A FNAF free roam survival horror game where you explore, prevent death by animatronic, and eventually escape predators. Probably. But who am I to say? The story might be simple-ish, but the gameplay aims to be anything but. Also, I'd like to just say that the storyline had genuinely a lot of thought put into it, so yeah. Anyway, enough talking about the gameplay, let's talk about something more important. So, as of right now, that's where we're at. There's still a lot of work to do, but progress is progress. If you want to see more updates on this game, or just watch me struggle to produce more videos, feel free to subscribe, or don't, it's your choice. And if you have any suggestions, ideas, or general feedback, just let me know in the comments. I'll be sure to reply. Alright, that's it for now, I guess. Thanks for watching, I think. Bye.